Good afternoon. This is DIY Cooking with Connie, and today we're going to fix 3 different dips. And my daughter is going to demonstrate those for you today. They're great for holidays, so we're going to get started.
Hello everyone, we are welcome from the Missouri Ozarks. Today my mom, Connie Prather, she and I are going to be cooking 3 different dips today. So we are also recording this for her YouTube channel, which is DIY Cooking with Connie. So if we mention that, or we're trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yes.
So we might be looking a little different direction once in a while, or showing the products in a little different direction. So because we have 2 cameras going, so we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you 3 easy dips that you could use for New Year's this year, or football games, or just having a few people over. Most of these ingredients you're going to have in your pantry, probably, or refrigerator. So let's get started. Okay, Mom, if you want to switch me places.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one, this is, you're going to use a bread loaf for this one. And I like to buy, I can always get these Italian, the wider loaves. And if I get them day old, they're usually 66 cents at Walmart. And I like these because you can cut this, and then you can get more stuff on it. The French rolls, for me, they're just too small to be able to put very much stuff on. So let me show you how we're going to cut this, because we do want to use what's inside. We're basically going to fill this. So we want to take about the top third off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dig down and get all the bread out from underneath there, and we're going to make that into cubes. So there's the top. You can see I didn't cut very much at all off of the top there. We've got all this bread left, and we're going to take out all that and make that into cubes. So I'm going to put this just over here off to the side, and I'm just going to start cutting and try to get some of this inside out as easy as I can without completely tearing it apart. What we'll do is we'll cut this into little cubes, and then this will be bread that we can dip into the dip that we're making here. So I just cut around the corners there, as you can see, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get down in here and cut through the bottom the best I can without completely tearing it up. I like to leave a little bit on the bottom, because this does hold quite a bit of ingredients, and it can easily, if you don't leave something on the bottom, you know, you don't want it to soak through there.
You don't want a soggy bottom.
No, you don't want a soggy bottom, and you don't want all the good stuff out on the. So as you can see, this is not a perfect cut. I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of that if I can get. And you can see that my bread has broken some, and that's going to be just fine. So I'm going to set this off.
You don't want to take any Scotch tape to the bread.
No, you don't want to use any Scotch tape for the bread. And I got a serrated knife out to use. This is what a serrated knife is, and it cuts through bread real easy. But you just saw I forgot to use it, so I'm just going to cut these up in chunks real quick. A serrated knife keeps you from mashing the bread more than anything.
And it works great on angel food cake.
Angel food cake, okay, that's a good tip. Okay, so here, I'm going to keep these pretty big chunks. I'm going to keep them pretty big chunks, because that way you get a lot of good stuff on it. And there goes Mom's phone. She is one popular person. She has always got people calling her, which is a good thing. A lot of people call and check on her, and I appreciate that. Okay. All right, so we've got all of our bread cut up for this, so I'm going to go ahead and put that to the side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chop up the rest of our ingredients to make the actual, to fill the loaf with. Okay, so we just have frozen peppers here. I would have preferred that we use some, excuse me just a minute. I would have preferred that we use some fresh peppers. But anyway, I didn't stop at the store, and so here we are with this. My son, he got to come home for a little while for Christmas, and
First time he's been home in 2 years.
first time he's been home in a couple years, and so we've been able to visit with him some. But anyway, today we kind of got our wires crossed, and he planned to leave today, and I thought it was going to be later in the day. So anyway, I didn't get by the store and get my pepper picked up and all that kind of thing. So it's so hard when you have adult children and they don't live
Close.
anywhere near you. And he lives in North Carolina, and then we live in Missouri, and so it's not like you can go there for the weekend and see each other. So all I'm doing, we just need 1/3 of a cup of these peppers. A red pepper would be really pretty, a sweet pepper. You could use the bell pepper. The bell pepper would be prettier for the cream cheese and everything that we're putting in. And but the yellow peppers, green pepper, whichever you liked to use. Even if you didn't like sweet peppers, you could leave them out, or you could use hot peppers. We don't do hot really, but I know a lot of people do, so you could certainly do that. So I'm going to just put these in a paper towel right now because, like I said, they were frozen, and I want to get as much moisture as I can off of those. I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm here, and I'm going to chop up some green onions. And we just need about 1/3 of a cup of green onions, but we all like green onions, so I'll probably do a little bit more. I'm going to do some of the whites, but I'm going to do the greens too. So you do whatever you like. If you don't like green onions, then, don't add them in. I better put some green if I'm going to, because we're going to make another dip that's got green onion too. Alright, let's see how much we've got here. So like I said, we're supposed to be going with about 1/3 of a green onion, but we like them, so I'm going to put just a little bit more.
That's really good to have, just having the family over and sitting around playing games or watching TV. Something that they're always hungry. When you have a family, they're always hungry. So this kind of helps fill in and gives you a variety to serve them. And they're laying off the potato chips so much. And it's a very, very good dip.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a 1/2 cup of green onion, just because, like I said, we love green onions so much. So we'll do a 1/2 cup of that. All right, let's see.
That's 1/3 of a cup, isn't it?
No, that one's a 1/2 cup there. I think it is. Yeah, that's a 1/2 cup.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a bowl. We're going to put some of the real good stuff in here now. So the first thing we're going to start with is a block of cream cheese,
which is 8 ounces.
Yes, that's 8 ounces, and we had a huge block of cream cheese, huge, and so the reason it looks like this is we've just cut it up, and then we'll use it for our other dips as well. But yeah, 1 8-ounce, and then what we're going to do is to this we're going to add also an 8-ounce cup of sour cream. Now what we're using is full fat of everything. Just if you want to use something lesser, just remember it is going to go into the oven.
But just remember, it's the holidays and calories don't count.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got our 8 ounces in there. And then we are going to shred some cheese. Now, I like to shred the cheese. I know it's a whole lot easier to just buy it shredded. So if you want to buy it shredded, you do what you like to do. But we're going to actually shred it manually.
And what kind of cheese is that?
Well, we're using extra sharp today. But Normally we like just a mild or even a medium, but for this dip, because it does have the sour cream and the cheddar cheese, we're going to go ahead and do the extra sharp, and that's going to give us a little bit more.
My favorite.
Your favorite extra sharp?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to need 2 cups of sharp cheese. This doesn't take very long. When you have it where it's not already shredded, they don't have to put the, they talk about putting the insulation in here to bind your cheese and keep it from sticking, the Meltos or what, I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but this doesn't, when you buy the whole block, they don't have to add that in. So if you buy it fresh like this, then, and shred it, then you don't have that, white tone to it. I think we probably have about 2 cups there. Let's see real quick. And a lot of this stuff, you don't have to measure. It really does not matter with this. That's about a cup. And then we've got about, so that's about good right there. You don't have to, if you like more of something, just add more. If you like less, it's all just going to be melted down. And so it's going to be perfect any way that you do it. Mom, I don't know if we've had this before. Blake.
I've had this at a party one time.
Oh, you have? Okay. My son, he really, really likes this. And we used to fix it all the time. Of course, he's been gone for a long time. But, and we intended on fixing it this time, and then we just did not get around to doing it all. So, okay, I am going to move over here to the mixer, and I'm going to mix this real quick. And I'll let Mom talk to you for a little bit. I hope you can hear her over.
Well, like I said, our grandson come home for the first time in 2 years. He is a psychologist, and he's finished school, and he's starting his practice now. So he is a very busy guy. But we really enjoyed him, and we played a lot of rummy games, and a lot of laughter. We kind of learned about the family. And, of course, my kids, I have a daughter, which is Claudia, and I have a son, Lynn. They start telling stories on each other, things that I don't know even happened. And I know my son-in-law, he says, I've learned more about this family playing cards than I have in the last 30 years. But we have a good time. It took us it took us 2 days to play one game. And for all the laughter and telling stories. But it's enjoyable. And my grandson that has come home, he enjoys himself so much when he's home. And it takes the pressure off of him, and he's got a 15-hour drive to go home, and so I worry about him. Look forward to hearing from him after he gets back, and maybe this next summer he can come out for a few days again. But we love having him. He just goes back too soon. I think she's got that beat up now.
Yeah, it does.
You want to show that after it's beaten up?
Let me rinse my hands real quick. I got some of that cream cheese on there. Yeah, it's so hard having an adult child that you don't get to see very often. Now, I did not beat it till it's in any kind of consistency at all. All we're wanting to do is just get it blended together, because like I said, it's going to go in there and then it's going to get melted. So I'm going to add to this, I'm going to add just the green onions in here. And then I'm going to add the those peppers that I chopped up. And then I'm going to chop up some ham. This calls for chopped ham. And it's only 1/3 cup for the ham as well. And again, if you want to put more ham, you put more ham. If you want to put less ham, we're just using just a cheap brand Eckrich ham. Now, what I've used in the past is I've used this Buddy brand, and I know it's backwards for you guys to see, but I've used this Buddy brand honey ham. Any kind of ham you want. If you've got leftover ham from a holiday meal or anything.
Could you use pastrami in it, or?
You could use anything. You could use
beef.
You could use hamburger. You could use some pork. I mean, you just make it to your tasting. If you'd rather put like pepperoni in this, pepperoni would be perfect. Or you can put no meat at all. So this is how, when I first tried this years ago, this is how it was made. And we loved it so much, we just stuck with exactly how it was made. Now, this is going to be way more than a third of a cup. You can see it's already more than half a cup. But I'm going to put all that in there. And I did not chop it very fine at all, because that's how I like it. But you do whatever your family likes the best. And also, we like to put some Worcestershire sauce in it a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people, I don't like stuff on my hands. It bothers me. Okay, so I'm going to put just a few dashes of the Worcestershire in there. And you won't need any salt or anything, just simply because you've got the ham, which of course has got plenty of sodium, and then you've got the cheeses, and they've got sodium. So.
And the Worcestershire, it's salty.
What's that?
And the Worcestershire sauce is salty.
Oh yeah, and it's got sodium. So, but if you want to add pepper to this, we're going to make something a little spicier in a little bit. But if you wanted to add hot sauce to this, you could add anything, that you wanted to. Okay.
So you about got her mixed up?
I think we've got it mixed up, and I think it's ready to go on our bread. So we've got our top on here, we've got our pieces, and we are just going to take this mix, and we're going to put it right inside like a bread bowl.
Very easy. I think
Very
anyone out there could handle this.
And you can see why I wouldn't want to use the French bread. I'd rather use the big Italian loaf.
You need some room.
Because you really got to have some room with this thing. Now, if you want to put some paprika on the top of this, then you'd be welcome to put some paprika on the top of it. That would make it pretty.
But your top layer is going to be covered. So.
Our top layer is going to be covered. And then, if you wanted to, before you serve it, if you wanted to get, put some extra shredded cheese on the top, just so, it looked prettier.
Or a little parsley, be pretty.
Yeah, anything like that, then you could certainly do that. Okay, now, so we've got what we need. We're going to go ahead and put this on top, and then depending on how brown this ends up getting, we may move that. And then
you don't wrap it in tin foil?
We don't normally wrap it in tin foil. We're just going to bake it like that. Well, I tell you what we probably should do. I probably do need to wrap it the first little bit because it's... So, yeah, I think you're right, Mom. I think we normally do put some tin foil. I forgot. It's been a while since we actually made this. It always pays to listen to your mom. She's usually, right.
What one of us don't remember, sometime the other one does. So,
yeah.
Hopefully
there's a time.
Hope it gets all together there.
That happens on a regular basis too, where we'll both forget something. Okay.
But everybody makes mistakes, I always have said.
All right, so we're just going to wrap this up so that bread doesn't get too done before the cheese does.
Now, do you need to spray that loose bread with...
We really don't. If you wanted to take some spray, like a can of canola or something, you want to spray that, or if you're someone who likes olive oil on it, you could do that. But this is just going to toast it up, and we'll have to take that earlier. You could also spray it if you wanted to and put some Italian herbs on it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be so good already with the... sticking it in the dip, you won't need to do that. So.
And how long is that going to bake in there?
We're going to check it in about 30 minutes and pull off that
top layer
aluminum foil.
And 350 degrees?
It's going to be 350, yeah. And I'm going to set the timer for 30, but we'll check it, make sure. Okay, so that is recipe 1. I just call that you know, like a cheese bread bowl. There's no special name for that one at all. So you call it whatever you want. So let me move those things. The next one we're going to do is going to be very similar. I'm not going to need the cheese right now, but I am going to use, I'm just going to use the same bowl. It'll be perfect for this, so we're going to use the same bowl so we don't dirty things up. That's one of the good things whenever you're making multiple like dips and stuff.
Yes.
A lot of the ingredients and the bowls you could just keep using. Okay, so I'm going to put another block, an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, any brand you want to. Now this one's full fat. And this one is so easy. And it's very easy to double, triple. My aunt, who I lost this year, she contracted the virus. And she is my favorite aunt. And she always made this at Christmas time. And so for as long as I can remember, we always ate this at Christmas time. And it's just so easy. And we made lots of it. And they would eat it. She would put, like she'd have a little cracker, she'd put like 2 tablespoons of this stuff on there. I'm not one to eat that much dip with my cracker, but man, they liked it. So it's always special for me to make it because it reminds me of her, and we've eaten it for a long time.
And now you're cutting up some onions.
Yeah, so what we're going to do with this, the only thing this requires is the 8 ounce of cream cheese. And it requires green onions. Again, I'm going to put more than probably some people. You put what you want to make it the flavorful.
And we like green onions.
Yeah, we like green onions. We are going to use some of the whites in here too. But the greens is what make it so pretty. And what we always did is we always used that really cheap package, Buddy. It was called Buddy, and it was the beef. And the reason they did the beef is because the beef had more pink color. And so we always made this at Christmas. So they had the green for the green onions, and then the more pinky for the beef. But I've got ham today, so I'm going to use ham. But you use whatever you want. So if you were going to use 1 package of cream cheese, then you'd probably want about 2 ounces of beef or ham or pastrami or
whatever flavor you want.
Yeah, whatever kind of lunch meat that you want.
And you can always get, roast beef, sliced roast beef, lunch meat.
Yep. I can't imagine having it any other way but this way, and that's just because
you like it.
This is how it's always been, and it's one of those things, you don't really want to change. But I am changing it to ham today because I have that. Okay. So
kind of chopping those up smaller.
Chopping those up, yeah, a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is when I mash it all up and mix it, then that's when I can tell if I want more green onions or not, because I can just tell by color how it always used to be.
Now, after you do it a few times, it it just comes normal that, it needs a little more of this or a little more of that. So.
Yep. And I've got, let's see, there's 2 slices of ham here, so I'll put a little bit of ham in it. And this, you don't have to do anything to. So if you're going to eat it, it's good like as soon as you make it, but it is so much better the next day.
It gives a chance for all the ingredients to marry together. And that's like most anything, soup or anything else you make. Get a day difference makes a lot.
Yeah. Come on over here, Mom,
well,
so we can all see you.
When you're cooking like your vegetables and stew and your meat together, and just like this, the longer it sets, like the day afterwards, it tastes much better because it has time to marry together. And that's with sauces, anything like that. When you're adding extra ingredients, sometimes the second day is always best. Now, I'm a turnip lover, and I cook turnips. And my turnips are always better the day after and the day after that. They get better tasting to me. None of my family likes turnips, so I get to enjoy them by myself with a little cornbread. And I like the bacon grease cornbread. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, and that's on Mom's DIY Cooking with Connie
Yes, it
channel.
is.
It's got, we've got the bacon grease cornbread on there because we didn't have sweet cornbread when we were raised.
Put a
We
little
just had,
Worcestershire on
yeah.
it.
And so I love, again, we like Worcestershire, and I just put, I don't know, maybe probably a couple teaspoons, you know, something like that. Just, if you don't like it, you know, don't put it in. Now I've gotten rid of my spoon.
I guess you could put hot sauce in there if you wanted it.
Yeah, you can. That's a good part about the cream cheese. You can
Add
put
about anything.
anything you want. And so I'm just going to start mashing this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And we did have, because we got such a huge thing of cream cheese, we did have this in the refrigerator, or excuse me, the freezer. And with cream cheese, the consistency, when you take something, the taste doesn't change, but the consistency changes when you take it out of the freezer. So what you should do is you should let it come to complete room temperature, and then you should whip it, and mix it or whatever with the beater, with the mixer, and that will get it back to its consistency. It always, when you do it like this, it always looks like it's going to be like a little grainy or something.
You need a bowl?
No, I'm going to use some saran wrap and dump it on there.
Okay, I'll get you some saran
Okay,
wrap.
that'd be great. And but anyway, it doesn't change it doesn't change the flavor at all, but the texture will be different. And so, if you can see here, now we're out of green onion tops, but I put quite a bit of the white bottoms. And so I think I've got plenty of onion in there, even though I'm not seeing a lot of the green. I'm pretty sure that we're good with that. So what I like to do is, you could put this right in a bowl if you were going to go somewhere and serve it.
Of course, when you have saran wrap, it wants to fold in on itself.
Of course.
And you have to have a little patience and spread it back out.
Yeah. Mom and I are not the best with patience.
No, we want everything done right now.
And we're very, very similar. So, of course, we think our way is the best way. Sometimes we do butt heads because sometimes we do have different ideas. But
I told my son-in-law, I said, now, you know what your wife's going to be like when she gets my age.
so what I do is I just kind of put it all in a, get it all together in the bowl. And then you can kind of put it together.
Mold it after you wrap it up there.
Yeah, and so what I'm just going to do, you don't have to do this. You could just put it in a bowl. But if you were going to take it someplace and you wanted it to be, nice and round and, whatever, then you could just put your saran wrap on it, and then just make it into your nice little, ball. And then you could set it in the bowl that you're going to serve it in and turn it out whenever you get there.
Put it in the refrigerator and kind of let it firm up a little bit.
And so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put it in the fridge. And then that's it. So that is super, super, super easy.
Talking about my bacon grease cornbread, I have a childhood friend that we growed up together. We're great friends. We've done it. We've just been close all of our lives. And she's always loved my mother, bacon grease cornbread. And every time I see her, she says, oh, I just think that I wish I had a piece of your mom's cornbread. Well, for Christmas, I fixed her a pan of cornbread and some hot rolls and took them down to her. And I handed them to her, and she said, oh my gosh, it's still warm. And so she was tickled to death over it. And you don't always have to take an expensive gift. Something homemade is always so nice to have, especially when it comes from your heart.
Yeah, and we don't do much gift giving. If we want to do some things, we usually just do them through the year. Mom and I like to take little trips. We've unfortunately not been able to do that a whole lot this year, but we, if I see something I think Mom would enjoy, I'll pick it up. But, at this point in our life, we don't need anything. We've got so much stuff. It just piles up. And so we try and spend our money on making some memories
Yep, when I'm gone, they're gonna have a heck of a time going through the shed and going through the house. I kinda like my, things too much. But,
We love thrifting. We are
yeah,
big.
we do, we're great with restoring. I mean, we love our antiquing, we just love it all.
Mom, tell them what we did when we went to Branson. I think it was last year, and we had to go get those bags.
We went thrift storing. Yeah, okay. They've got a lot of thrift stores in Branson, and we went crazy. So once we get back to our room, we can't get all this stuff in the car. So we go and buy these bags, these big bags that you put a vacuum cleaner on it. It sucks the air out because, I mean, we couldn't take the stuff home, it wouldn't fit. So we borrowed the maid's vacuum cleaner. And here we are. How many bags we had? 4 or 5?
I think 6 came in
Of those big old bags.
Yeah, I think it was 6.
And so here we are, we're packing them and sucking the air out of them. And we finally got all of them in the car. You know, it's a good thing we didn't take a lot of luggage, or we'd have left it at the room, because we're not going to leave our thrift store stuff. And we got it all home that way. But you don't want that air come out, because
yeah, it was excuse me, it was something. We just did too much.
but
Okay.
we had a ball doing it.
Yes, we had a ball doing it. And
Okay, now how much white cheese?
Okay, well, here's what we're going to do here is we are making a buffalo chicken sauce.
Ooh.
Now, we don't like hot. My son does, and we thought he's still going to be here today. Anyway, we are going to cut this recipe in half because he's left, and I'm adding a couple things to it, and we're not going to spice it up. But I'll tell you what you should do if you're going to spice it up. So this is cut in half. We just call it buffalo chicken, but you can call it whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to need is we're going to need 3/4 cup of a shredded cheese. So we're again using our sharp cheddar cheese because that's what we had. And then I just, that's all the shredded cheese that's supposed to go in it. But I went ahead and shredded up some mozzarella cheese too. And there's probably a good 1/2 cup there. So that's not necessary, but I did put it in there, and I think it'll be really good with it. So we got 3/4 cup of a shredded cheese, cheddar that you know, whatever kind you like. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a can of chunk chicken breast, and this is 12.5 ounces. 12.5 ounces.
Half of that?
And no, we're going to use 1 can.
1 can.
That's cutting it in half. And I'm going to go ahead and drain this before I open this can all the time. I'm just going to
Do you
drain
need
it
a
down
clean
the
bowl?
sink.
Do you need a clean bowl?
No, this will be fine. I'm going to drain it in the sink because this is chicken in water.
Yep.
It's not in oil or anything. And so it won't do anything as far as trying to mess our pot up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this easy. Now you can use rotisserie chicken if you, like I put chicken in a crock pot and I'll fix it that way. And then I'll shred it. You use whatever kind of chicken you want. So here's what we ended up with. This is all white meat chicken. So we've got one 12.5 ounce can. We're going to put this over here on the stove, and we're going to turn it on medium heat.
There's a wooden spoon
Now-
up there if you need it.
What's that?
A wooden spoon there if you need it.
Now, if you were going to add the hot sauce, now would be the time you'd add the hot sauce. You'd go ahead and put it in so it has a chance to marry with the chicken some. Like I said, we are not going to add any hot sauce at this time. So we're going to add a little bit of just water to it, or I think we might have, did we use all that evaporated milk?
No, we didn't.
Okay, let's just use a little bit of, we had made some, I think I used evaporated milk for some mashed potatoes or something. So we're going to We'll just put a little bit of that in there. Just a little bit of something. Some chicken broth would be fine.
There you go.
You know, whatever you want to use. So I'm just going to put just a little bit in here so it's got some moisture with it, but not much because we don't want that to burn right there.
Now, how much of the hot sauce does that call for?
Well, what you would normally put in there, of course, you're going to put as much as you want, but what the recipe calls for is, let's say, be half of a 3/4. So that'd be about 37.5. So let's see. What I usually do when I'm doing that, because I'm not the best at math, is
Now, that would be something
take
like
out
this you
3/4.
want to use.
Yeah. So like this is Frank's hot sauce, and which we realize that's backwards. You can't see it, but you can use that. You can use Tabasco. You use anything that you like. If
you like it hot.
Yeah, Chipotle you could put in here, anything that you want to. So all this calls for is the shredded chicken I already told you about. And then this calls for a 1/2 cup of ranch dressing. Now we're just using the inexpensive, you know, this is the Walmart brand. It's buttermilk ranch dressing. So all you're going to have in this is ranch dressing, a 1/2 cup. You're going to have your shredded cheese, 3/4 cup, 1 can of your cooked canned chicken or rotisserie. It's 12.5 ounces. Again, if you want to put more chicken or less chicken, you know, you certainly could do that. And then you would be putting the hot sauce. And then we're going to put our last block of cream cheese. So what I'm going to do, since we didn't put in the hot sauce, I'm going to go ahead and add the cream cheese here. And that's 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to melt that down just a little bit before I add the other cheese and the ranch to it. And then you can do one of two things. Like you could make this if you had something to do, say at the office or something, and you wanted to make this, then you could make all that morning, or you could make it the night before, put it in a bag, whatever you want to, put it in a bowl. And then if you're going to take it to work or to a party or something, just dump it in a crock pot, put a liner in the crock pot so you don't have any mess, dump it in there, and then turn it on low for about 3 to 4 hours. It just needs to, of course, warm through. The chicken's already fully cooked.
Take your dipping, your chips that you're going to use there.
So you can use whatever you want. Chips, you could use the toasted bread, you could use
vegetables.
Vegetables, anything you want. And that's all you would have to do. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and do this all in the skillet here over medium heat, because I'm not going to worry about dirtying up a crock pot liner using it when all I can do is mix this up.
It probably really won't last that long to put it in a crock pot.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a cook, you got to taste your product.
Yeah, and I wish we had a hot sauce that was already open. I just don't want to open a whole bottle of hot sauce when we're not going to be using it for anything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is already started melting down with the cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead and add the ranch dressing. And this is not the powdered ranch. This is actual ranch dressing.
Bottled ranch.
Yeah, so if you've got the powder, just make you up some ranch dressing like it says to, and you'll have it like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put in both of the cheeses that I made, or I shredded, I should say.
And we're not in the cheese business yet.
And then, yeah, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to mix this up. And you will need to keep your eye on this, because we got a lot of milk in here.
We don't want it scorched.
We definitely do not want it to scorch. So while this is kind of coming to temperature, I'm going to check and see where we are with our bread bowl that we made.
You know, we have seasoning that we use on crackers, making crackers, you know, a box of crackers.
Yeah, come on
And
over here, Mom.
our seasoning mix makes up a full box of crackers, which is 4 sleeves. And if you mix those up, they're great to use for dipping into these dips. We've got spicy, we have kind of a little hotter one on a pretzel, we have sweet, we have peppermint, we have coconut, we have curry, and we have, we call it a 6-shooter. It's spicy. And then we also have
We got a cracked pepper. And one that just came out this year,
garlic cheese.
garlic and cheese, and
Very good.
we only got to go a couple places and work this year, but we sold out of it right away, and then we sold out of the lemon. And my intent was to show you real quick how we make a whole box of saltines with our seasonings, but I got distracted this morning and I did not get that.
Well, the grandson was going home today, but we have got a plate of our crackers that we've made earlier. And here's the crackers. And the pretzels are a spice. We have the cracked pepper on here. We also have the 6-shooters, which is like this, and you see the spice.
It's got the red chili flakes in it.
And very good for dipping.
And Mom, go ahead and tell them how we actually do make that.
Well, what we do, our packet, it's just dried seasoning. It's $7 a bag, or 3 for $20. You take a 2-gallon Walmart bag, you can get them at Walmart's, and you put a 1.5 cups of oil into your bag. You dump your package of seasoning. We kind of work it in there before we add our crackers, kind of mix it up. Then put all 4 sleeves crackers. Once you got your crackers in there, you ziplock it with, you want air in it, and you go to tossing it back and forth, until you kind of get the oils get absorbed. And the way I do it, I do that, then I lay it down. When I come to the kitchen, I toss it again. Next day, they're ready to go. They'll last 3 weeks on the counter and months in the freezer. Crackers do not freeze in the freezer, but it keeps them fresh. And so you can take out a bag anytime you want it. And we use them all the time. It's just good to snack on. Sit and watch TV and eat crackers, use a dip, or just plain crackers. They're good either way. I like the 6-shooters with a little salsa, sour cream.
Or you can, we can use those also for marinades. You can use those to make dips with. You could use them to make shakes with, as far as the sweet ones.
Yeah, the seasoning is very versatile. And also with our peppermint, we do this a lot at Christmas time. With our peppermint, you can dip half of that into a chocolate and do it like that. It's very good that way. It's more like, a dessert.
Okay, guys, I'm going to show you kind of how this looks. It looks absolutely delicious. And I don't want to get too low so I don't spill it out on the floor. But this is, if you wanted to put some chives or some parsley or green onions, anything on the top of this to give it a little color. Of course, if you were putting the hot sauce in, which most people would, then you could, the color would be a lot less boring, I guess you'd say.
You want a bowl to put that in?
That is pretty much completely ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that out of the oven. I don't think it's quite ready, but I want to show you guys what it would look like. And also, while we're here, we're talking, I wanted to say to the buyers that were in the sellers, the decor group, that's decor, gifts, and collectives. Thank you so much for supporting. Normally this year I've made graphic shirts, and then of course we had our cracker seasonings, and then I had a few hats and this, that, and the other thing. But small businesses have been hit so hard this year, and my husband and I are both retired from our jobs that we've had for a long time, and we have a food trailer. Well, we only work 2 times this whole year with our food trailer. So you can imagine if, if we didn't have any other income coming in, it's tough, You're used to working big festivals and things like that, and then all of a sudden you don't have any work. And so thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting small businesses this year. And I know the sellers group that we're talking about, we had a good variety, so many beautiful artists and wreath makers, and just unbelievable crafts that
And homemade is so much nicer than bought.
It is. It's much nicer.
Made with love.
All of those people were used to going to festivals and fairs. They were not used to selling online. So we've had to learn a lot this year as a group. And I just wanted to say I appreciate each buyer who has watched my videos, who have bought my shirts. I know all the other vendors feel exactly the same way. The vendors, we've all bought each other's things. We've supported each other. It's turned out to be a fantastic group for, DIY people or, self-employed people. And on the same thing, on Mom's YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. She's just getting going on it. Thank you for watching, and we'll be able to grow that more, hopefully, and we'll be able to start doing some thrifting before too long. But we appreciate all those. If you have not been a self-employed person, it's tough. I was self-employed most of my life. I was in the real estate business for many years.
And I was self-employed for 28 years.
And my mom, she had a business as well. And it's tough. It's just the way that it is.
Oh, the bread looks delicious.
Yeah, I'm going to set this bread off on a little paper plate here. And you can see those all toasted up. Show you here in just a minute, and then I'm going to open this other so you can see it, and then we will wrap this up for you. But there's the bread that we had taken out of the middle, so we will eat that with this dip. We'll see, this may need a little bit more time. Ooh, that's hot. Let's see here. Okay, so this dip is, I'd say it needs a little bit longer. It's not bubbling yet, but let me just give you a quick view of it. Ooh, I don't want that to slide off. Ouch. Anyway, that's what the dip would look like. And I'm going to keep that out of the tin foil. I'm going to put it back in for just a few more minutes and let it heat up thoroughly. And then we are going to have a lot of dip and a lot of cheese and cream cheese.
We're going to be eating heavy on the hog.
Yes, we are. So, hey, we would love to know what you thought about just seeing us make some of these dips, something different. And we'd like to know, what do you fix for New Year's, or what do you fix when you've got a family or friends coming over? And what your plans are for the new year coming up. So
we certainly do appreciate you tuning in.
We appreciate it very much, and we will see you guys the next time, I guess.
Exactly. Happy New Year.